Picture this. I'm standing at the edge of my world, 31 floors above the chaos of the city, where the air feels thinner, sharper, like it could cut through the haze of my thoughts. My name is Jasmine, and this glass cage I call home is both a sanctuary and a prison. The walls around me are transparent, floor-to-ceiling panels that turn the sprawling metropolis below into a glittering canvas at night. Every light, every flicker mirrors something I can't quite name, a restlessness maybe, or a quiet ache. I watch the city breathe while I stand still, my reflection staring back at me like a stranger in the polished sheen of the glass. It's cold to the touch, always cold, no matter how high the thermostat is set. In the kitchen, the hum of our overpriced coffee machine fills the silence, a mechanical heartbeat in a space that feels more like a showroom than a home. It's a symbol of everything we've built, Cole and I, sleek, efficient, expensive. But it's also a reminder of the distance between us, a chasm wider than the skyline outside. Mornings here are a quiet dance of avoidance. We move like shadows, Cole and I, gliding past each other without a word. No arguments, no raised voices, just nothing. I pour my coffee, the bitter tang of an overbrewed batch stinging my tongue, and I wonder when we stopped tasting life together. My heels click on the marble floor, a hollow echo that seems to mock the emptiness of these walls, and I catch a glimpse of Cole by the window, his silhouette sharp against the dawn. He's already dressed for the day, suit tailored to perfection, a man of edges and angles. His gray eyes, once so full of fire, now carry a distant chill, like a storm that's passed but left everything frozen in its wake. He runs a company that's the envy of half the city, a titan in his world, always in control. And me? I'm the ornament at his side during those endless business dinners, smiling on cue, nodding at the right moments, but never truly seen. I'm part of the decor, as polished and untouchable as the glass around us. I think of the last time he held my hand. Months ago, at some gala where the chandeliers glittered like false promises. Even then, it felt staged, a performance for the crowd, his grip firm but devoid of warmth. My fingers felt like they were holding a stranger's, and when he let go, I swear I felt the last thread between us snap. Now we don't touch. Not a brush of shoulders, not a fleeting glance that lingers. We exist in parallel, two lines that never meet, no matter how close they seem. I sip my coffee, the bitterness lingering on my lips, and stare out at the city waking up below. Somewhere out there, life is messy, raw, real. Here, it's sterile, curated, a museum of what could have been. Here I am, later that evening, alone again in this glass tower of ours, the city skyline sprawling endlessly beyond the windows like a sea of stars fallen to earth. The silence is heavier now, pressing against me as I stand by the window, my breath fogging the cold pane just slightly. I'm lost in the maze of my own thoughts when the phone buzzes on the counter, sharp and insistent, slicing through the quiet. I glance at the screen. Cole's name flashes and my heart stumbles for a moment. I pick it up, pressing it to my ear, and his voice comes through, tight and clipped, like he's holding something back. Jasmine, I need you to come to my office. 47th floor, downtown. We need to talk. Before I can even form a question, the line goes dead, leaving me with nothing but the echo of his urgency and the hum of a disconnected call. My mind reels as I set the phone down, a storm of emotions crashing over me. Confusion first. Why the office? Why now? At this hour when the city is winding down. Then, a tiny flicker of hope sparks somewhere deep inside, whispering that maybe, just maybe, this is his way of reaching out, of trying to bridge the gap between us. But there's something else too, a nagging unease that coils tight in my chest. It's late, too late for a casual conversation, And Cole's tone wasn't warm or inviting. It was sharp, almost desperate. I shake my head, trying to push the worry aside, but it clings to me like a shadow as I move through the apartment, my bare feet cold against the marble floor. I head to the bedroom, my pulse quickening with every step. I slip into a tailored black dress, the fabric smooth and cool against my skin, a piece I've worn to countless events where I played the perfect partner. My hands tremble just a little as I apply a quick swipe of lipstick, the deep red a stark contrast to the paleness of my reflection in the mirror. I grab my coat, the weight of it grounding me for a moment, and sling my purse over my shoulder. My heart is racing now, a frantic rhythm I can't slow down, each beat echoing the questions I don't have answers to. What does Cole want? Is this the moment we finally confront the silence between us, or is it something else entirely? The elevator ride down from our apartment feels like it stretches into eternity. I'm trapped in this sleek, mirrored box, the walls reflecting my anxious expression back at me from every angle. My eyes look too wide, too searching, and I can't help but fidget with the edge of my coat, smoothing it down as if that will smooth out the chaos in my mind. The numbers tick down slowly, each ding a reminder of how far I am from the ground, from reality. When the doors finally slide open, the cool night air hits me as I step into the lobby, and I hurry to my car, the sound of my heels echoing in the empty space. The drive to Cole's office downtown is a blur, the city lights streaking past like comets in my peripheral vision. My hands grip the steering wheel tighter than necessary, the leather creaking under my fingers as my mind churns with possibilities. I pull into the underground parking of the sleek, towering building, the silence of the late hour wrapping around me as I step out. The elevator ride up to the 47th floor feels like a slow ascent into the unknown, my reflection in the mirrored walls looking more like a ghost than a woman with answers. When the doors slide open, the dim lighting of the office floor greets me, casting long shadows across the polished floors. Cole's office is at the far end, behind a set of heavy glass doors, but as I approach, I see he's not there. Instead, standing by the panoramic window with his back to me is Archer, Cole's business partner. His silhouette is framed against the glittering city below, a dark figure against a backdrop of endless light. He turns as I step closer, his dark eyes catching the faint glow from the skyline, sharp and unreadable. "Cole left, but he said you'd come," he says, his voice smooth, almost too calm, like the surface of a lake hiding something dangerous beneath. A prickle of unease crawls up my spine, but I force myself to nod, stepping further into the room. He gestures toward a tray on the desk, a crystal decanter and 2 glasses catching the light. "Drink?" he offers, and I hesitate, my instincts screaming at me to turn around and leave. But something in his gaze holds me there, a magnetic pull I can't shake. So I murmur a quiet yes, and sit on the leather couch across from him. He pours the amber liquid with a steady hand, the clink of the glass against the decanter, the only sound in the oppressive quiet. I take the drink, the cool weight of it grounding me for a moment as I settle back, but the tension in the room is thick, electric, like the air before a storm. We sip in near silence, the city lights casting long, jagged shadows across the floor, and I can't help but notice every small movement Archer makes. The way his fingers trace the rim of his glass, slow and deliberate, sends a shiver through me. His gaze lingers on me, heavy and intense, like he's peeling back layers I didn't even know I had. I shift uncomfortably, the leather creaking beneath me, and try to focus on the drink, the burn of the liquor doing little to dull the growing unease in my chest. But then, in a moment that stops my heart, his hand brushes my knee. It's not accidental. His touch is deliberate, warm through the thin fabric of my dress, and it slowly moves upward, slipping between the material and my skin. My breath catches in my throat, my body frozen in a war between shock and something darker. something I don't want to name. Guilt claws at me, sharp and relentless. But there's a rush too, a forbidden thrill that I can't ignore as his fingers trace higher, igniting a heat I haven't felt in months. He leans in close, his breath warm against my ear, and whispers, "He said he can't touch you, but he wants to see me do it." The words hit me like a physical blow, confusion and betrayal crashing over me in waves. What does he mean? Cole said this? My mind reels, but before I can process it, before I can pull away, I feel myself giving in, surrendering to the pull of Archer's presence. It happens there, on the leather couch in Cole's own office, under the glow of the city skyline, reflected in the glass walls around us. Every detail burns itself into my memory. The creak of the leather beneath us, the heat of Archer's touch against my skin, the way his breath quickens as he pulls me closer. My heart pounds, a frantic rhythm of guilt and desire, each beat screaming at me to stop, to think of Cole. But I'm lost in the moment, drowning in the intensity of it all. The city outside watches, indifferent, as I sit there on the leather couch, my breath still uneven, the weight of what just happened pressing down on me like a physical force. My fingers tremble as I adjust the fabric of my dress, trying to smooth out the wrinkles as if that could erase the last few minutes. My mind is a storm, a chaotic swirl of guilt and confusion, replaying Archer's words over and over. He said he can't touch you, but he wants to see me do it. What did that mean? Did Cole really say that? Did he orchestrate this somehow? The questions claw at me, each one sharper than the last, tearing through any semblance of clarity I might have had. I feel exposed, raw, like the glass walls around me have shattered inward, leaving me nowhere to hide. The silence in the office is suffocating now, thicker than before, wrapping around me like a heavy fog. I can still feel the ghost of Archer's touch on my skin, and it makes my stomach churn with a mix of shame and something I can't quite name. I glance toward the window, the city lights blurring into a kaleidoscope of color through the haze of my thoughts. My palms are clammy, a cold sweat prickling along the back of my neck, and I wipe them against the edge of the couch, the leather cool and unyielding under my touch. Every sound seems amplified in this oppressive quiet. The faint hum of the air conditioning, the distant murmur of traffic far below, even the erratic thudding of my own heart. It's so loud I'm sure anyone nearby could hear it, could sense the panic rising in me like a tide. I'm so lost in the whirlwind of my own mind that I almost don't hear the soft click of a door opening. My head snaps up, my body tensing instantly as the door to the adjoining room, Cole's private conference space, swings open with a slow, deliberate creak. My breath catches in my throat, and for a moment, I can't move, can't think. Then I see him. Cole steps out, his presence filling the room like a storm cloud rolling in, heavy and inescapable. He's holding a tablet in one hand, the screen glowing faintly, casting a pale light across his sharp features. My heart slams against my ribcage, each beat a deafening drum in my ears. I'm frozen, rooted to the couch, my fingers digging into the leather as if it could anchor me against whatever is coming. His expression is unnervingly calm, almost serene, but there's something in his gray eyes that I can't read. A depth, a shadow, something that makes my skin crawl. They're not angry, not accusing, just empty, like a void I could fall into and never climb out of. He walks toward me with measured steps, each one echoing in the stillness, the polished floor reflecting his silhouette like a dark mirror. My eyes dart to the tablet again, and that's when I notice it. The screen is still on, displaying a paused video feed. The image is grainy, but I can make out the leather couch, the city skyline in the background, and, oh God, My stomach drops, a sickening lurch that makes me feel like I might be physically ill. It's us. Me and Archer. Right there on the screen, frozen in a moment I wish I could erase from existence. The realization hits me like a punch to the gut. He's been watching, the whole time. From the shadows of that adjoining room, he's been streaming every second of my betrayal, every touch, every whispered word. My mind screams at me to say something, to explain, to beg for forgiveness. But my throat is dry, my tongue heavy as lead. I can't form a single word. Cole stops right in front of me, so close I can feel the faint warmth of his presence, a stark contrast to the icy dread coursing through my veins. I can't look away from him, can't escape the weight of his gaze as it pins me in place. Then, in a gesture that feels so out of place it's almost surreal, he leans down and presses a gentle kiss to my forehead. His lips are soft, tender, a fleeting warmth that sends a shiver through me, not of comfort, but of pure, unadulterated confusion. My mind is a tangled mess, unable to reconcile this gentle act with the cold, calculated reality of what I've just discovered. His kiss lingers on my skin like a brand, a paradox of tenderness and torment, and I'm left reeling, my breath shallow and uneven. I want to pull away, to scream, to demand answers, but my body betrays me, staying rooted to the spot as if I'm a marionette with cut strings, helpless under his control. My voice, when it finally comes, is barely a whisper, trembling with dread as I stammer out, "What now?" The words feel inadequate, fragile, like they might shatter in the heavy air between us. Cole steps back, his gaze steady, unyielding, piercing through me like a blade. His lips curve into a faint, unreadable smile, one that doesn't reach his eyes, and it sends a chill racing down my spine, colder than the glass walls of our apartment ever could. The city lights behind him, visible through the expansive window, twinkle mockingly, their distant glow casting jagged shadows across his face, highlighting the sharp angles of his jaw, the hollows under his cheekbones. They seem to taunt my vulnerability, each flicker a reminder of how exposed I am, how utterly powerless I feel in this moment. My hands tremble uncontrollably as I clutch the edge of the couch, the leather creaking under my grip, the texture rough against my clammy palms. It's the only thing grounding me, the only thing keeping me from spiraling completely into the abyss of my own guilt and fear. Cole's voice, when he speaks, is low, deliberate, each word a weight dropped into the silence. "Now it's your turn to sit in the shadows and watch." The sentence hangs in the air, heavy with implication, a riddle I can't unravel but feel in my bones. My heart stutters, a frantic beat against my ribcage, as I try to process what he means. Sit in the shadows? Watch? The words echo in my mind, looping over and over, each repetition tightening the knot of dread in my chest. I can feel the blood draining from my face, my skin prickling with a cold sweat as I stare at him, searching for some hint, some crack in his stoic facade that might reveal what he's planning. But there's nothing. Just that faint, enigmatic smile, a curve of his lips that feels more like a weapon than a comfort. My mind races, conjuring up 1,000 possibilities, each more unsettling than the last. Is this about revenge? Is he going to make me witness something as painful as what he just saw? Or is it something deeper, something even more twisted? A game of power and pain that I don't yet understand? I'm torn, split down the middle by conflicting urges. Part of me wants to fall to my knees, to beg for forgiveness, to plead with him to tell me this is all some horrible misunderstanding, that he didn't see what I think he saw, that he doesn't mean what I think he means. Another part of me, raw and desperate, wants to demand answers, to scream at him for setting this up, if he did, for watching in silence while my world crumbled under Archer's touch. But I'm too stunned to do either. My lips part, but no sound comes out. Just a shaky exhale that betrays how close I am to breaking. My eyes are locked on Cole, unable to look away, as if staring at him long enough might force the truth out of those unreadable gray depths. But he gives me nothing. No explanation. No hint of what's coming. Just that smile, that chilling faint curve that feels like a promise of something I'm not ready to face. He turns away then, his movements slow and deliberate, each step a quiet echo on the polished floor as he walks back toward the adjoining room, the same one he emerged from moments ago. The door looms like a dark portal, and as he reaches it, he pauses, his hand resting on the frame for just a second before he disappears into the shadows beyond. The click of the door shutting behind him feels like a gavel falling, sealing some unspoken verdict I don't yet understand. I'm left alone on the leather couch, the silence crashing back over me like a wave. Heavier now, suffocating. My body feels like it's made of lead, every limb weighed down by an exhaustion that goes deeper than just the physical. My arms rest limply at my sides, too heavy to lift, as if the gravity of what just transpired has pinned me in place. My throat is parched, a dry ache that no amount of swallowing can ease, and I can barely muster the energy to draw a full breath. I glance toward the glass walls surrounding the office, catching my reflection in their polished surface. The woman staring back at me is a stranger, pale, hollow-eyed, her features drawn tight with something between fear and resignation. I don't recognize myself in this moment, not with the weight of Cole's words still ringing in my ears, not with the ghost of his kiss lingering on my forehead like a mark I can't wipe away. I sit there for what feels like an eternity, my gaze fixed on the closed door to the adjoining room where Cole vanished. It's a barrier now, a wall between me and whatever truth lies on the other side. I don't move to follow him, though a part of me itches to storm through that door, to demand clarity, to shatter the cryptic game he's playing. But I can't. My legs won't carry me, and something deeper, some primal instinct, warns me that stepping into that room would only pull me further into a darkness I'm not ready to face. Instead, I stay rooted to the couch, my mind replaying every word, every look, every moment of this night. Cole's voice echoes in my head, that low, deliberate tone as he said, "Now it's your turn to sit in the shadows and watch." What did he mean? Was this his revenge for what he saw? A calculated move to make me feel the same helplessness he felt? Or was it a test, some twisted way to gauge my loyalty, my limits? Or maybe it's something even more broken inside him, a fracture in his soul that I've never seen until now. The possibilities churn in my mind, each one more unsettling than the last, leaving me grasping for answers that slip through my fingers like smoke. Outside, the city hums with life, a distant symphony of horns and engines, of people moving through their nights, oblivious to the wreckage of my world up here on the 47th floor. The lights glitter through the glass, a mocking contrast to the storm inside me. Their flicker a reminder of how small I am against the vastness of it all. I feel like I'm drowning in this moment, suffocating under the weight of my own choices and the enigma of Cole's intentions. My hands are still trembling, and I finally force myself to move, to stand, though my legs feel unsteady beneath me. I smooth the fabric of my black dress with shaky fingers, the motion mechanical, futile, as if straightening the creases could somehow straighten out the chaos in my heart. I take a step toward the panoramic window, drawn to the cold expanse of glass like a moth to a flame. My palm presses against it, the chill seeping into my skin, sharp and grounding, though it does little to steady the whirlwind in my chest. I stare out at the endless sprawl of the city, searching for something, anything, to anchor me. But all I see is a world that keeps turning while mine feels like it stopped. I can't stay here. The thought hits me suddenly, a quiet but insistent urge to escape this space, this cage of glass and betrayal. I turn away from the window, my movements slow, deliberate, as if I'm wading through water. I grab my purse from the couch, the leather strap cold against my palm, and make my way to the elevator. The polished floor echoes under my heels, each step a hollow sound that reverberates in the empty office. The elevator doors slide open with a soft ding, and I step inside, the mirrored walls reflecting that same hollow version of myself back at me. I avoid my own gaze, focusing instead on the illuminated numbers above the door, hoping that each descending floor will take me further away from the emptiness that lingers in the quiet corridors behind me. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.